Good morning. Welcome to Vlogmas Day 2. I thought I better get a bit of a Good morning. Welcome to Vlogmas Day 2. Thought I better get a shot of the snow before it disappears. As you can see, we did get a little bit of a dusting, but only a dusting. And it is already turning to rain, and it's supposed to rain for the next week or so. We got a little bit last night, and then looks like there's maybe a little more overnight. So, just here on the deck. They had a little sparrow there. Zoom in on the bird feeders. Oh, one's just landed there. Maybe hear the flicker in the background with that call. It's warmed up considerably compared to yesterday and the preceding day. There's one at the bottom of the feeder. It's like a little sparrow. Pour him a drink. And a bite to eat. Sounds like a good idea. I am going to go open my Advent skein for today and do a bit of knitting while I drink my tea. There's day 2. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. I have my pride. I don't want you to see me first thing in the morning. Pride or vanity. Ooh. That looks like it's on the mountain tweed, and it's beautiful shades of gray with a bit of purple, a bit of blue. That's going to be pretty. I'll show you what I've worked on a little bit later, once I'm up and truly dressed. See you in a little while. There's the hummingbird taking advantage of the feeder this morning. We moved the hummingbird feeders in front of the patio door recently so we could easily bring them in at night and put them out in the morning. And I was swapping them out for a little bit while the weather was cold. Oh, it's gone. It'll be back. Now that the weekend's over, life returns to normal. And that includes doing housework. So today in my house, it's laundry day, and you might hear the washing machine going. It's just on the other side of the door over there. So I hope it's not too distracting, but it is a necessary evil. Just after I finished admiring my new mini skein this morning, I realized there was something else in the package, and that was one of these delicious peppermint bark squares by Ghirardelli. These are one of my absolute favorite Christmas treats, so that was a nice surprise to find this morning. I think I'll probably have it after lunch. So here is that skein all wound up. So pretty. And it blends in so well with yesterday's color. So there's the beginning of my habitation throw. Surprising how long it takes to knit up 10 grams of yarn. I was surprised yesterday how long that took. And then you can see how nicely the second one is blending in, which leads me to reconsider a couple of things. One is that if all the colors are this soft and blend so well, I hesitate to throw in some bright, jarring Christmas leftover yarn. So I'm really having second thoughts about that decision. And also in that case, that means I'm back to my original quandary about knitting the habitation throw, because at its written size, I feel like it's not as large as I would like a throw to be. And so I'm back to thinking about doing a shawl instead. pardon me, one of my hesitations, or my biggest hesitation in doing a shawl, was not having control over the colors. But when I see how well these two go together, I have a feeling that perhaps Lisa's been quite deliberate in her choices, and perhaps she has chosen colors that will match well and blend well. I don't know, it's a secret, but I am strongly considering taking this out and casting on an Advent shawl instead. So stay tuned, you might see something entirely different tomorrow. And of course I won't really know till I open tomorrow's skein to know if my thought process is right. So I don't know, I'm gonna have to really think about that. Anyway, I did enjoy starting this, and I do like how it looks so far. And certainly if I don't do this pattern now, that is something I can see myself doing in the future with just regular old sock yarn leftovers, because I have tons of them. Last night watching, well, I worked on that, watching curling. I worked on my Advent socks, watching curling, and when I finished those projects, I picked up my candy cane socks. I had finished this one, and I was getting very close to the toe on this one. And so just as curling was coming to an end, I reached the end of the toe, and then I went upstairs and kitchenered it. So here I have a new pair of Christmas socks, which means, of course, I have to cast on another pair of plain vanillas, because I'm going to limit myself to how much I work on my Advent ones. So I need a pair I can work on any time I want. And so I have decided to cast on the original Christmas colorway from West Yorkshire Spinners, which is Holly Berry. And once again, I'll use the matching cayenne pepper mini skein for heels and toes. So I'm gonna keep those in my ugly Christmas sweater bag. That's what I call it. It's not really that ugly, it's kind of cute, but that's what I've named it. I don't know if you can see the fabric. Looks like knitting. Anyway, so that is something I'll probably cast on in a little while later today. And then, as I mentioned, I'm going to limit myself to how much I work on my Advent socks. As I thought, the skein did contain two matching 50-gram skeins, and so I've wound them up. Look how pretty. And I kind of counted as I went, and each skein has one repeat of 24 stripes, and then I think I counted another 21 stripes. So I know that 24 stripes is not enough to complete a sock. And so I've decided that if I want these done by Christmas, I'm going to have to do between 1 and 2 stripes a day to get them done for Christmas. So that's my goal on that. And that'll be actually sometimes probably hard to contain myself to just 2 stripes a day, because it is fun to see how the next color knits up and the next one after that, etc., etc. So I did yesterday, I went ahead and cast on and knit 2 stripes. I had a choice of starting with the green or with this kind of silvery gray. It's almost white. But I decided that since the first mini skein that I opened was a silvery gray, I decided to start with more color. So there's red and green to start. And then this morning I did knit one more stripe on this one. So that completes the cuff, and I've gone ahead and knit one round of just plain knitting with the new color, which is like a brown. So those are on their way, and they'll certainly knit up faster once I start doing the stockinette. It's funny, I did a 1x1 rib, and I don't even know why. Normally when I do plain vanilla socks, I do a 2x2 rib, And at some point I had started the second sock and I realized I was doing 1 by 1 rib, and I thought, did I do the same on the other sock? I hope so. So I checked and sure enough I had. Not sure why I defaulted to that, because that is not my usual cuff. And actually, if I'd really thought about it, I probably would have done 1 by 1 twisted rib instead, but it's okay. It's done. I'm not taking them back. So definitely have a start to those. Oh, my washing is done. And my washing machine sings a little song to let me know. So I'm not sure what I'm going to work on today. I learned that my brother-in-law, I have his name for Christmas, and he does indeed want a pair of felted slippers. I had a feeling he might. So I might start on those. I have some Barbie clothes to sew for my granddaughter, so I might start on those. I don't want to get too involved in any big project today. I do have to go curling later this afternoon. I'm sparing for my sister who's away, so I have to give some thought, and it needs to be something I can kind of interrupt easily to tend to laundry and other jobs. So we'll see. Right now it's up in the air. I'm wearing some knitwear today. It was felt cool in the house, so this is my So Faded. It's the first one I made. Maybe I'll stand up. You can get a look at it if you haven't seen it before. I love how this one turned out. And I have like a t-shirt underneath to give another little bit of warmth. So yeah, I'm gonna go and figure out what I'm gonna do today. So I'll see you in a little while. You will never guess what I'm knitting. Called an F-bomb. Maybe you've seen them. This summer my son and his girlfriend were visiting his girlfriend's aunt and uncle, and my son texted me a picture of one of those and said, can you make them? That we've been tossing them around and they're really fun. And so I said, well, maybe if you're lucky you'll find one in your Christmas stocking. So I'm only like that far in, and I can already feel it sucking the life out of this knitter's soul. I don't really like knitting toys. I really don't like working with black yarn, and I really don't like working with acrylic. But, you know, they asked. I feel like I am running behind today. I've lost an entire hour of my day. I don't know where. I was sure it was noon, and I looked at the clock and it said 1 o'clock, and I even went and checked another clock because I didn't believe it. So I have to leave for curling in about an hour and a half. So I am going to finish off for the day and see if I can't get this little Vlogmas episode up before I leave. So I will see you tomorrow. Hope you have a good evening. Bye.